Tonight, I have 5 true Reddit horror stories. These aren't ghost stories or made-up legends. These are real situations shared by real people. Sit back and listen. Story 1. When I was 16, I worked night shifts at a fast food place. It was a small town, and late shifts were usually dead. One night while closing, a man came to the locked front door, pounding and yelling, demanding we let him in. We shook our heads and gestured that we were closed, but he didn't leave. Instead, he circled the building, banging on the windows. At first we thought he was drunk, but something about the way he moved was different. He was deliberate, almost methodical, testing each door and window. Then we heard glass shatter. He threw a brick through the front door window and crawled through, cutting himself badly. Blood streaked the floor as he staggered inside, grabbing anything he could find. My co-worker and I ran to the back, locking ourselves inside the freezer while our manager called 911. We had to brace the door with our bodies because it didn't lock properly from the inside. Through the gaps, we heard him screaming, throwing things, and slamming against doors. When police finally arrived, they had to tase him to subdue him. He was high on meth and PCP, and they later found out he had stabbed a gas station clerk an hour earlier. If he hadn't been so injured and confused, we probably wouldn't have made it. After that, I quit night shifts for good. Story 2. I used to walk home late after work because I didn't have a car. The walk was about 20 minutes through a residential area. One night, I noticed an old, beat-up sedan creeping behind me. Every time I stopped, it stopped. I cut across streets randomly and even ducked through a small park, but the car kept following. I called my brother, whispering into my phone, heart pounding. I ducked behind a dumpster and waited, peeking out just enough to see. The car passed slowly, then stopped a few yards ahead. A man got out and started looking around with a flashlight. He wasn't just looking for a dropped item, he was looking for me. I texted my brother my location. I stayed hidden until the guy got back in his car and circled the block again. Minutes later, my brother pulled up in his truck and I bolted into it. The car tried to follow, but my brother drove straight to a police station. We reported it, but without a plate number, they couldn't do anything. A few days later, there was a news report about a woman a few neighborhoods over who had been grabbed off the street and forced into a trunk. The vehicle description matched exactly. I still think about how close I came to vanishing that night. Story 3. My cousin was attending a university in a sketchy part of town and rented a tiny apartment alone. She started noticing weird things. Food missing, lights left on. She swore she turned off, windows unlocked. She thought she was just being forgetful. Then, one night, she woke up around 2 a.m. to what she thought was whispering. At first, she thought it was neighbours, but it was coming from inside her apartment. She froze. The whispering continued, low, raspy, like someone talking to themselves. She locked her bedroom door quietly and called the cops. When they arrived, they found a man hiding behind her couch. He was filthy, carrying a knife and a backpack full of her personal belongings. They searched the building and found he'd been living in the crawl space above her bathroom ceiling, slipping down through the air vent when she left or slept. He'd been watching her for weeks. They also found a journal he kept, pages and pages about her, what times she left, what she wore when she showered. The police said if she hadn't called that night, it probably would have escalated to something far worse. Story 4. A few years back, I was babysitting 2 kids in a really nice suburb. It was late, after 11 p.m, when I heard someone knocking. At first it was soft, almost polite. I ignored it. The knocking got louder. Then it turned into pounding. I looked through the peephole and saw a man wearing a hoodie, standing too close to the door. He wasn't carrying anything, wasn't selling anything, just staring. I texted the kids' parents, but they didn't respond. Then the man started jiggling the doorknob violently. I called the police, whispering into the phone. As I waited, the man circled the house, tapping on windows, shining a flashlight inside. Then he disappeared. Minutes later, I heard scraping at the back patio door. He was trying to pry it open. I grabbed the kids from their beds and hid us all in the upstairs bathroom, locking the door. We could hear him banging around downstairs, trying every window. It took police 15 minutes to get there, and when they did, they found him hiding in the garage with a crowbar, gloves, and zip ties. Turns out he was a serial burglar who had graduated to violent home invasions. They found a knife taped to his ankle when they frisked him. I think about how bad that night could have ended if one door or window had been left unlocked. Story 5. When I was about 10, I was home alone for a short time after school every day. One afternoon, the doorbell rang. I wasn't expecting anyone, and my parents had drilled into me never to open the door for strangers. Through the peephole, I saw a man in a delivery uniform holding a package. I shouted through the door that my parents weren't home, and he needed to leave the package. His entire demeanour changed. He started shouting, slamming his fists against the door, trying to kick it in. I ran upstairs and hid under my bed, clutching the cordless phone. I called my dad, whispering that someone was trying to break in. I heard the man walk around the side of the house, trying the windows. One window in the living room wasn't fully locked, and I heard it slide open. Footsteps creaked across the wood floor. I held my breath as he entered the house, listening to him move through the living room, down the hall. He tried the door to my parents' room. I heard drawers opening and things being tossed around. Luckily, he didn't find me. Minutes later, my dad arrived, pulling into the driveway fast. I heard the man bolt out the back door and into the woods behind our house. Police later said multiple homes had been targeted by a group pretending to be delivery drivers, looking for easy break-ins. Some of them ended violently. After that, my parents got a security system, but I never really felt safe in that house again.